Yeah, maswika kubasa.
Ndatobuda ndiri kutauni mangamati.
Okay, aiwa handandira ngovhunza nenyaya yema-BP tablets asikala aya amakaodha kuti abviswe.
Mamura kubvunza kuti kudii?
Aiwa, inini kungovhunza kuti ko indava kubva mati mabva mabvisa matablets emunhu muda kuti afe here naIjob Sikhala?
Ndimani ngemi?
Chef Gukurumai, ndiroitwa Simba Chikanza, ndiri mutori wenhau. Ndiri kubvunza nenyaya yemaorders amakapa imi kuti ma-BP tablets asikala. Yes, cut. I'll call him again. Okay,
We're
yes,
just going to
cut
repeat
again.
it twice, and then we'll start straight away. We're going to repeat it twice, and then we'll start again.
Hello, Mamkase, Chef.
Hello?
Chef Gukurumai, Mamkase.
Damuka?
Yeah, maswika kubasa.
Ndatobuda ndiri kutauni mangamati.
Okay, aiwa handandira ngovhunza nenyaya yema-BP tablets asikala aya amakaodha kuti abviswe.
Mamura kubvunza kuti kudii?
Aiwa, inini kungovhunza kuti ko indava kubva mati mabva mabvisa matablets emunhu muda kuti afe here naIjob Sikhala?
Ndimani ngemi?
Chef Gukurumai, ndiroitwa Simba Chikanza, ndiri mutori wenhau. Ndiri kubvunza nenyaya yemaorders amakapa imi kuti ma-BP tablets asikala. Yes, cut. I'll call him again.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Good evening to you, obvious witnesses, Jonas live on Zimai. You can hear the sound of my voice here. Do let us know where you're logging in from, and also type the share button. And tonight here I'm joined by a renowned whistleblower, a former prison officer, but a man also who sits in the history of our country as iconic and pivotal to the exposure or expose during the vote rigging of 2008. Shepherd Yuda. Mr. Yuda, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Simba Chikanza.
Thank you. Yeah, I am listening to this prison officer who I spoke with today, this senior prison officer, who I understand is quite senior. But I called him because of the leaked information that I got, and that points to him ordering particularly the poisoning against Jon Sikhala, and then also the withdrawing of BP tablets belonging to Jon Sikhala. Right, Mr. Yuda, we're listening to this man here. What could you give us as a summary as to what do you understand, what you understand from what he's saying?
Thank you, Mr. Chikanza. I've been listening to the recording of which I understand you managed to speak to Chief Superintendent Moses Gukurumai. First of all, I would like to point certain things here, starting from the incident of Lenmo Jongwe. Listening to the recording, I thought, or I took myself back to 2000 and probably 2003 or 2004, between 3 and 4, when Lenmo Jongwe was in prison, and I think Jongwe died. I can't remember exactly which year was it, but Jongwe died in prison at a remand prison. The cause of Jongwe's death, people said Lenmo had an overdose of tablets whilst he was in remand prison, which is a very rare occurrence, considering that no prisoner, despite of status, will be allowed to keep medication in his prison cell. So coming to the video that, the recording that you have, Mr. Chikanza and Zimai have unveiled for us to listen. First of all, you asked the Chief Superintendent, which I believe is the officer in charge for Chikuru Maximum Prison, that why did he remove or order removal of medication from Job Scala, which I understand these are blood pressure medication. So considering the two incidents, the first incident that I've spoken about the death of Jongwe dying in prison because of overdose of tablets, and then this incident again for an opposition member of parliament, Job Scala, in prison with his medication being withdrawn. I am not sure, Mr. Chikanza, whether these BP tablets were being kept in his cell or they were being kept by the nurses who will administer them to him when they are required. So this is something that I didn't get properly, whether the removal of this medication was done or was ordered to say, look, he must not keep the tablets in his prison cell, or he must not get the medication at all from the nurses. So I didn't get
Right.
properly.
Oh, so you're saying, yeah, so there's a possibility there that maybe the context here is different. And this might not be a dangerous thing after all. It might not be an attack on Sikhala. It could be just be a procedural.
It could be procedural. This is what I'm saying, that listening to Gukurume or listening to the introduction of the audio, these tablets were removed from Job Scala. I'm not sure they were removed in capacity that he must not keep them with him in the prison cell, or else they were removed so that Job Scala cannot be given medication, blood pressure medication. So this is the context which I didn't get properly. Why Gukurume would order the removal of these tablets? Were they kept with Job Scala himself, or with Job Scala, or they were kept at the prison hospital where nurses would come and administer the medication to Job Scala? So this was not clear. I didn't get clearly that point. You might help me. You might help clarify to me to say whether they were removed from prison cell, that Job Scala must not keep the medication with him, and the medication should be kept in the prison clinic, or the medication was ordered not to be given to Job Scala. So I'm not sure. You can clear that for me so that we can move forward.
You know what? While we're on that, would the officer in charge have authority or scope of decision making that would include passing an opinion, or in this case, a medical one, to remove medication? Yobva ingayende uko. Anayo ere scope yacho
Thank you.
from your background.
Yeah, thank you so much. Officer in charge, where prison most of the time is concerned with the security of the prison. Above the officer in charge, there is a doctor, prison doctor, who is concerned about the health of the prisoners. Saka officer in charge, regardless of msungo yarwara zvakaiposaita sei, officer in charge vanenge vachishanda nema-orders esecurity, kuti security inotaura kuti musungwa hafanirwi kuwanikwa nema-tablets musero. Saka officer in charge cannot allow musungwa kuti ave nema-tablets musero. But if it is a health decision, ndo ma-decisions anozoiswa nema-doctors. Ma-doctors vanozotaurira officer in charge kuti musungwa is allowed certain amount of tablets musero. Probably could be a recent thing, but kazhinji zvinoitwa ndezvekuti matablets anenge achengetwa nemanesi. Manesis ndo vanouya ndosaka kune vanenge vari panight vanenge vari paduty that night ndo vanoziva kuti nguva dzakati tikunopa musungwa wakati medication yakati, nguva dzakati tikunopa musungwa wakati medication yakati. But officer in charge vane mapowers ekurambidza kuti musungwa agare nematablets musero, because for security reasons, also considering incident yandataura yana Jongwe, it made a lot of changes to such type of things. Saka officer in charge vane masimba acho kutaura no, handisuda kuti musungwa ave nemapiritsi musero, no, handidi, because for security reasons an officer in charge can say that. Saka considering kuti vagukuruma vanogona kuve vakataura kuti mapiritsi abviswe pana Jon Sikhala, because officer in charge for security reasons anogona kuvaka order like that. I mean, it's very clear.
Right. Yes, it's coming up. It's coming up. So what are the other scenarios here? Because I spoke to the officer in charge following the leak, the detail that leaked to me some days ago. I know you probably were not aware of this detail, and I quite know that you're not aware, but we got some detail that points to poisoning Jon Sikhala, some operations that have been run under and by Gukurume himself. And the extra detail in this leak points to instructions by him to withdraw Jon Sikhala's TB tablets. Sorry, not TB, BP tablets, his blood pressure tablets. So I spoke with him under this understanding, but also seeking to get his comment on how he justifies such a thing, seeing that it can get Sikhala killed.
Thank you, Mr. Chikanza. The problem yaitika ndeyekuti I think officer in charge warikuitwa Moses Gukurume, he did not act professionally from my point of view, because you called him, you asked him, he asked your identification, then you told him that you are a journalist. Saka dzabva dzakata phone. As far as I understand, he was supposed Simba zvinhu zveprison kazhinji kacho, if you want any information from a prison or about a prisoner or anything, approach inonzi iyo public relations office iri head office. I'm not sure by now my prisons anofana kuva ane ma-PRs vanenge vari ma-prisons, especially at station level. By now vanofana kuva vane ma-public relations officers vanodila nema-issues ema-prisoners. I blame Officer Gukurume for failing to clearly specify here that such information is confidential. It can only be obtained from the public relations office. Public relations office ndo inodila ne-information yevasungwa. Saka if a journalist want to understand or hear anything about the happenings in a prison, anofanirwa kubvunza public relations office. Saka vanga vasiri supposed to have cut you off kuti journalists ari kundibvunza, I'm not supposed to answer to the journalists over kukata. That was wrong from my assessment. He should have told you, no, Mr. Chikanza, thank you for your concerns. I'm the officer in charge at Chikuru Maximum Prison. So what I need to do is I need to refer you, or I'm referring you to the public relations office, your prison. No, all questions must be directed to them. They will answer you. Because his failure to clarify that, nekuba akukata, already to make sure journalists and leaked information, yekuti here, Sikhala is being poisoned in prison, and his medication has been removed. These are critical issues. These are serious allegations against the prison, against even the officer in charge. And if anything happens now, Pana Job Sikhala, the officer in charge will be in trouble. The prison will be in trouble. The prison commissioner will be in trouble. So I find director where you get that information, because here is a leaked memo. Sikhala is being poisoned in prison, of which officer in charge should not simply ignore that. It's something that he should take seriously as well. Investigate it. No intelligence zacho. Vasikhala varada kupoisona. But kana zvakunzi vagukurume ndo varada kupoisona Vasikhala, that should have been made clear. And then I blame him for cutting you off without giving you direction to where you can get any information. Maybe zango actor emotionally idzo ndo dziri kuaccuswa kunzi unoda kuuraya Job Sikhala.
Right. Our viewers, witnesses, this is the story here, a leaked memo that suggests that Job Sikhala has been poisoned, and also that his medication has been was withdrawn from him. His blood pressure medication that leaked memo led us today contacting Chief Superintendent Moses Gukurume over his role in that alleged poisoning act. And the following that we shall play is the audio. We are right now speaking to a legendary former prison officer who is an expert in this area, a man who also was a whistleblower in what happens inside the Zimbabwe prison services. What do you think yourself? Imi munoti chi nazo imi. We're not going to take too long a time. We're just going to take one question and then we will end later on. Tichazodzoka, we will come back on this. But what do you say? And then much respect to you, my elder Yuda. Mwari ndeve vanhu. Sorry, pane echo.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Zvanzi nasimba makanda tsama mwari ndeve vanhu tese, ndevedu tese, ndeve vanhu vese. Hanzi dodzi mwari don. Okay, handina kunzwisisa iyoyo. Once these ZANU-PF pigs vachaita hutsinye kudaro. I think vachiita hutsinye kudaro. Someone is watching from Gokwe. Manu Gavave saying we can hear you loud and clear watching from Gokwe. Yeah, Nolin Monaro same koma simba ndinofara hanzvadzi vangu imimi kana muchifarao. So this is the detail here, and I want to ask you, Mr. Yuda, before we end this brief chat here. Some people said this morning that there is no confirmation here by Gukurume at all. I'm not gonna my comments you out. And I need you to just give me, and I would like to invite those people also to come up here, because they're saying, look, Simba, you rushed to announce that there's a confirmation, hapana kana confirmation hapo on what Gukurume said.
Unfortunately, that's not my comments actually, but from what you are telling me, good one, I'm going to Simba hapana confirmation. I don't think they are doing justice, Simba, because already you have stated your concerns to the officer in charge. Panama concerns are raised. Saka, what's your position, the officer in charge? Officer in charge, instead of vaite zvandataura, vabva vakukata. Ruona. Already, kana isusu tadzidza takuziva anonzi mahypothesis, null hypothesis and so forth. Iwewe kana wanga une hypothesis yako yekumeka sure kuti vagukurume ava ndo vari kunzi varida kuuraya vaJob Sikhala. Vagukurume votaura navo vobva vakata phone. Already, that is a confirmation. To me, it's a confirmation. Because he is the man in charge. He's the man with the authority. He was not supposed to have switched you off. Because that switching off alone, you as a journalist, you already conclude with it. there is a confirmation. People might say there is no confirmation, but from my knowledge, kana watadza kutaura wabvunzwa, even mukoti chaimo ukabvunzwa, koti inokutaurira simba. Takambopinda makoti akawanda kuti kana kuti mapurisa akakusunga iwewe simba akaenda newe kupolice station, vanotaura kuti vachikanza you are under arrest, but akurekodha a warned and cautioned statement kwamuri imimi. Zviri kwamuri mune kodzero yekunyarara kana kuzvidhifenda. Kusazvidhifenda kwenyu mungasarudza kunyarara vachikanza. Kusazvidhifenda kwamuri kuita dare richazoshandisa kusazvidhifenda kwamakaita against you semunhu akaparachi mhosva iyoyo. Saka looking at that scenario here, we went with accusations to the officer in charge. Officer in charge has failed to defend himself. And Saka, when you fail to defend yourself, then it means to the officer in charge already the public court would say, there is confirmation. Because kana vanhu vachita hapana confirmation, ivo vane audio yavanzwa, officer in charge havana zvavataura, vangobva kukata. Ukatry kuwafona havana kuzodaira. Saka inenge yakutoreva kuti that is a confirmation enough. Pane chaakutotyiwa ipapo. Saka ukanzwa munhu achita kuti there is no confirmation, anenge asiri kufunga deeply kuti what are the repercussions of the officer in charge not answering these questions. Daina ndiri ndini officer in charge kukurume. Ingadai ndakutaurira zvandataura simba kuti unfortunately I'm the officer in charge. I look at the security side of this. But if you need any information concerning these allegations, please would you contact the public relations officer, prison national headquarters. Kana vaitofanira nekutokupa nenhamba dzacho nemunhu wawaizofanira kutaura naye ku public relations. Andoroona. So mere cutting of a phone without solving anything with these serious allegations, it's a confirmation. Here's a journalist.
You know, while you're on that, you know, just as we end, I'd like to draw our viewers and listeners to how Chief Superintendent Moses Gukurume does not deny that he withdrew appeals at Jon Sikhala a blood pressure. So we're going to quickly replay this. Mr. Yuta, thank you very much for tonight, you know, coming up, and we just briefly chat this. We talk around this. We will have a bit of more extensive time. Someone is saying Hans Mnangagwa was hoping for an uprising by illegally arresting Jon Sikhala and declare a state of emergency and arrest OCCC leaders and poison them. He is an occultic murderer. That's Erisha. Okay, so we're going to quickly replay this. Of yours says, do press the share, and then keep the conversation going. Download that video, put it in my WhatsApp group and the like. Let's keep the conversation going and tell us here. Thank you very much tonight. We're going to replay this as we end. Thank you, sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mr. Simba.
Yes. I don't know if you heard me, though. I was just passing my
you're handing over to me to speak. Oh, thank you. In any Simba, I can't blame you on this video, on this audio or whatever has been recorded here. I can't blame you. You are a journalist. You are ibasa rako kufukura zvinhu zvakawanda kuti zvibude pachena. Pane serious allegations, as I have mentioned earlier on. Kuti pane serious allegations of poisoning of Jon Sikhala, of his medication being withdrawn. Unoza kuve musungu hazvirevo kuti haufanira kupiwa medication. Kunyange uri musungu ari padeath row chaiyo, you should receive your medication. Saka kana pachinzi pane issue of Sikhala being poisoned, already this has been said by journalists, this has been aired, this has been published. Even Sikhala's family now is worried about it. So a lot of information must be made open to the people to really understand. Our prison system, yave confined kudara, yave secretive kudara, but now yave an open. Saka uchiona uchitukana pama Facebook, unoona magadheri, unoona mabanditi, zvasingaitike kudara izvezvi. Saka now, if there is something of concern, like what we are discussing today, the prison cells must come open. If they withdrew Jon Sikhala's medication, they must come open and give reasons why they withdrew Jon Sikhala's medication. If they are saying for security reasons, Jon Sikhala cannot keep his medication in his cell, that is understandable. Because vajongwe vakafa mutoxi musel vakanzi aita overdose yematablets. Zvinhu zvandakataura inini palive kuti musungwa, hakuna musungwa anowanikwa netablet musel. Musungwa wese kana kuseni, vasungwa vakavhurwa kuseni vanopuwa medication yavo kuseni, vanoenda kuclinic. Vaenda kuclinic vanopuwa mushonga wavo. Nesi anotokupa mushonga kuti musungwa wotopuwa mvura yekunwa matablets ako ipapo. Wapedza kunwa nesi anotokusecha ushama oona kuti hauna here paviga matablets kana pi mukano mako hamusina mapirits aenda. Kana wabva kuclinic hauna tablet raunenge wakabata. Saka kuzoonekwa kunzi Leni Mojongo akazonzi akazofa neoverdose musero, iwo matablets achipuwa in a manner that I've explained. It's something boggling one's mind. Saka a repeat of that scenario haisi kudiwa. Handifunga kuti prison service ingada a repeat of that scenario. Anyway, we cannot dismiss that kuti vangangoda kumuuraya Jon Sikhala through that and so forth, poisoning. Because problem yatinayo ndeyekuti the Commissioner General of Prison Services haasi mugadhijera. Ndokana chitaurira vanhu. He is not a trained prison officer. Haasi mugadhijera. Haana kumbva amboshanda panosechwa musungwa. Haana kubva amboperekedza musungwa kumunda. Haana kubva amborara usiku akachengeta jeri achidongorera masero kuti chii chiri kuitika muvasungwa. He doesn't even know what to look for when we operate or we guard prison. Saka musoja akangobva mubush achiuya achibva anzi you are the commissioner of prison. Saka he doesn't know, he doesn't have the basics of prisons. Saka anogona kuorder withdrawal of those tablets because haasi mugadhijera, haazvizivi. Haana kumbochengeta vasungwa at a basic level or level yekuti iwewe unofanirwa kuziva kuti musungwa arara sei, adye, arwara, unoita sei usiku and so forth. Chihovhu is ignorant. He doesn't know that. Anditi maona. Saka the problem iyoyo yekuti haana basics of a prison officer. He doesn't understand nyaya dzekutaurwa panapa. He can order gukurume kuti mutorere mapiritsi hazvina basa. He can do that. Because haazivi the basics kuti gukurume is a trained prison officer. Ndakashanda nagukurume inini pachikurubi. Ndakagara nagukurume inini pachikurubi. I really understand the type of guy gukurume is. Munhu ari down to earth. Munhu anotya Mwari. Kuti ukataura naye munhu wekutoti anokuudza kuti munin'ina izvi hazviite. I haven't spoken to him, I think, for ages since ndabva kuZimbabwe.
But apa tikutya Mwari here kwakumana kuti munhu anotadza kungogadzirisa ipapa kuti munhu anobvisura musungwa uchibvisura mapiritsi ake iwo ungosungudzira zvakadaro.
Ndo zvandiri kutaura Mr. Chikanza kuti now things might be different. Munhu aripo commissioner of prison aripo ezvinezvi haasi mugadhijere, haazivi mabasics kuti musungwa chii chinoitika kana akarwara, musungwa atorwa mapiritsi, musungwa aitwa sei, kuti anopuwa mapiritsi sehazivi. But what I'm saying is I'm talking about the gukurume that I know, that I worked with. Angari boza wana gukurume ndo ma-first prison officers kunotraina zvemabhiza kuintroduce in equestrian department ku prison services. The character of gukurume that I know is the one that I'm saying here. But things change, Simba. People change. You understand? Zvandiri kutaura izvi was a junior officer. Tatine same rank. But now is ndaona panapa akunzi chief superintendent. Ndaona panapa akunzi the officer in charge of Chikuru maximum prison. Saka people change. I'm not saying kuti haana kuzviita or akazviita, but the character yagukurume wandoziva the gukurume who is being described here. There are two different gukurumes and but what I understand is the Commissioner General of Prison haasi mugadhijera. He doesn't know the basics of a prison. Kuti kana muri pajeri chii chinoitwa, musungwa anovharirwa nguvai, musungwa kana avharirwa chii chinoitika usiku. Musungwa akanzi arwara usiku munoitei? He doesn't know. Musungwa ane a chronic disease. By now Job Sikhala ingadai asingavharirwe kunana chikuru maximum. Ingadai Job Sikhala pamwe atori kuchipatara. Because musungwa anorwara. And you cannot lock munhu anorwara musero. Ingadai atori kuchipatara. We had a very big hospital kuchikuru. Norara vasungwa varurwara.
Wow. So, you know what? You're giving us quite some extra detail here. Our viewers, witnesses, this is the context of this story. And these are the bits and pieces coming together. We're going to catch up later on tonight and tomorrow on this story. If you want to read it, you can check it on ZimEye. It was published early in the morning following my conversation with Superintendent Moses Gukurume. And it's regarding the CCC MP Jon Sikhala, the man who is the representative of the slain mother of two, More Blessing Ali, and who was arrested for making cultural statements honoring her client. And these are cultural statements that the state claims were an incitement to violence. But we're going to be shutting now, and I forgot also to say that Jon Sikhala is being tried at a time when he is known to be one of the most, if not the most vocal MP in opposition politics, who has challenged Emmerson Mnangagwa head on numerous things. Mr. Yuda, thank you so much for tonight, for coming up.
Thank you, Mr. Chikanza. Thank you, viewers.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Mamgase, Chef.
Hello.
Chef, Kukurume Mamgase.
Damuga.
Yeah, Mashka Basa. Okay, aiwa ndandira ngovunza nenyaya yema-BP tablets asikhala aya amaka-order kuti abviswe.
Mamravudza kuti kudii?
Aiwa inini kungovunza kuti ko indava kubva mati mabva mabvisa matablets emunhu muda kuti afe here naJob Sikhala?
Ndimani ngemi?
Chef Gukurume, ndinoitwa Simba Chikanza, ndiri mutori wenhau. Ndiri kubvunza nenyaya yema-orders amakapa imi kuti ma-BP tablets asikhala. He has cut. I'll call him again. Okay, yes, cut again. Hello, Mamgase, Chef.
Hello.
Kusisa Mnangagwa. Vanhu vese vanofana kuziviwa. Ndiro basa redu rokuti Mnangagwa aende.
Concerning the events of the 15th of October 2019. On the 15th of October 2015, Mr. Speaker, there was an altercation that took place in the city of Belgrade in Serbia between you, Mr. Speaker, and the Zimbabwean journalist called Simba Chikanza. After that altercation, Mr. Speaker, it is now reported, and also through an affidavit that has been posted to the Interparliamentary Union
Advocate, a crime is being committed right now. People are dying. People are dying. Go to court where? People are dying right now in Zimbabwe.
National Intelligence, Isaac Moyo, that Simba Chikanza is a security threat to this country. Simba Chikanza, Mr. Speaker, said this is Zimbabwe. Who, in terms of the Constitution, Simba Chikanza is a Zimbabwe who is entitled to the protection by the laws of this country over the issue of his security. May you please guarantee SCS raised a rhetoric that he has been classified as a threat to national security, that he is guaranteed to come to his country without harassment and it is said that his classification as a threat to state security was motivated by your report to the Director General of the Central Government. Can you guarantee Zimbabwe security in our country?
The leaders are afforded state security, and I was privileged to be covered by the state security of Serbia. Because of what the security in Serbia thought, to the extent that my security had to be secure, they did take the necessary measures, including beefing up the security around my presence in Serbia. It is normal practice that the security services in Serbia are obligated to inform my country of origin of what is transpired. And it is the communication between the security services of Serbia and security services here in Zimbabwe. They were obligated to give a report and liaise with the security services here in Zimbabwe. What transpires between the two organs is not privy to me. It is a matter between the two security agencies in Serbia and Zimbabwe. So I did not make any report.
One recently said the only job we have in Zimbabwe is Sikhala. These were the scenes inside Parliament in November 2019 when Jon Sikhala took the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Mudenda, to task over why he reported me to the Zimbabwe Intelligence Service, the CIO, following my interview with the learned advocate in Belgrade, Serbia, when I demanded answers from him over why he is punishing Nelson Chamisa MPs over their refusals to accept and honor the self-confessing 1 August 2018 criminal Emerson Mnangagwa by standing up for him. At the time, Mudenda had withdrawn their allowances for over 5 months, and my interview with him eventually resulted in him confessing to his participation in
the war crimes committed on the 1st of August 2018, which resulted in the unconstitutional overthrowing of an elected government on that day, and which crime has given Mudenda the very job that he has traveled to Belgrade, Serbia for.
I have got victims of 1 August.
Concerning the events of the 15th of October 2019. On the 15th of October 2015, Mr. Speaker, there was an altercation that took place in the city of Belgrade in Serbia between you, Mr. Speaker, and the Zimbabwean journalist called Jon Sikhala. After that altercation, Mr. Speaker, it is now reported and also through an affidavit that has been deposited to the Interparliamentary Union appeal.
Advocate, a crime is being committed right now. People are dying. Oh, people are dying. Go to court where? People are dying right now in Zimbabwe.
National Intelligence, Isaac Moyo, that Simbashkanza is a security threat to this country. Simbashkanza, Mr. Speaker said, is a Zimbabwean who, in terms of the constitution, Simbashkanza is a Zimbabwean who is entitled to the protection by the laws of this country over the issue of his security. May you please guarantee as he has raised a rhetoric that he has been classified as a threat to national security, that he is guaranteed to come to his country without harassment. It is said that his classification as the threat to state security was motivated by your report to the Director General of the Central Republic of Zimbabwe. Can you guarantee Simbashkanza's security in our country?
The leaders are afforded state security, and I was privileged to be covered by the state security of Serbia. Because of what the security in Serbia thought, to the extent that my security had to be secure. They did take the necessary measures, including beefing up the security around my presence in Serbia. It is normal practice that the security services in Serbia are obligated to inform my country of origin of what is transpired. And it is the communication between the security services of Serbia and security services here in Zimbabwe. They were obligated to give a report and liaise with the security services here in Zimbabwe. What transpires between the two organs is not privy to me. It is a matter between the two security agencies in Serbia and Zimbabwe. So I did not make any report.
One recently said the only job we have in Zimbabwe is Sikhala. These were the scenes inside Parliament in November 2019 when Jon Sikhala took the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Mudenda, to task over why he reported me to the Zimbabwe Intelligence Service, the CIO, following my interview with the learned advocate in Belgrade, Serbia, when I demanded answers from him over why he is punishing Nelson Chamisa's MPs over their refusals to accept and honor the self-confessing 1 August 2018 criminal Emerson Mnangagwa by standing up for him. At the time, Mudenda had withdrawn their allowances for over 5 months, and my interview with him eventually resulted in him confessing to his participation in
The war crimes committed on the 1st of August 2018, which resulted in the unconstitutional overthrowing of an elected government on that day, and which crime has given Mudenda the very job that he has traveled to Belgrade, Serbia for.
I have got victims of 1 August. Do you also respect the people who are suffering? So do you respect the victims who still have bullets in their bodies right now, advocate? The victims who still have bullets in their bodies right now. Advocate, you are the highest, you're the most respected person, and you are mentally torturing MDC MPs, adding to the physical torture to victims of violence on 1 August, which was done to change election results, and this was broadcast on ZBC. Advocate Mudenda, you are a respected man. You are the highest, most respected.
It's not privy to me. It is a matter between the 2 security agencies in Serbia and Zimbabwe. So, what transpired between the 2 organs? What transpired between the 2 organs?
Transpired between the 2 security organs. The Speaker of Parliament had called the police on me. And what transpired was in fact very embarrassing for Mudenda. The same police officers ended up hugging me, and number 2, a document was issued,
which is an indictment against the Speaker of Parliament for war crime. The basis
an
for
arrest
war crime
warrant against the Speaker of Parliament, right there in Serbia. So there is the evidence. The only thing that was communicated to Zimbabwe is the arrest warrant against the Speaker of Parliament. And Jon Sikhala took Jacob Mudenda to account over that. It is now official that Zimbabwe's Speaker of Parliament is, according to international law and Serbian domesticated ICC laws, a war criminal by definition and in practice. What does this mean then for the legal legitimacy of not just Mudenda's parliament, but the presidency of Emmerson Mnangagwa? Is it not now more clearer that with a small push, it is now more possible to remove and deregister a presidency? How is power obtained in an illegal regime? One that is criminal from its inception, through an electoral process or through a legal strategy to dispossess. Does Zimbabwe have a real electoral system? And should people have to wait?
We are going to take to the doorsteps of Emmerson Mnangagwa. We are going to overthrow him before 2023. That is not a joking.
His enemies said it was treasonous, but the High Court ruled there was no crime. I decided to test this method myself and managed to pull up an interview question that totally froze up the president of Emmerson Mnangagwa's home country for a period of over 22 minutes, after I had decided not to wait for another election to overthrow Edgar Lungu, when he had shut the door on the opposition and was about to kill his own citizens. It was just one button I pressed on my cell phone, which helped not just to overthrow him, but to expose him before 632,000 citizens watching. It's now too clear there are so many ways Mnangagwa can be overthrown legally, with no protest, no violence, and no coup. Take, for instance, the Mudenda prosecution. If him and 5 government ministers are arrested outside the country, the basis for de-recognizing presidency is created, which conditions all push the nation closer to physically taking him out of State House legally. And the upcoming elections are held under the grounds that the incumbent was a criminal. Such legal grounds are extremely crucial and indispensable for the opposition to truly and successfully take over power. Because at present, Emmerson Mnangagwa takes the opposition in his world of realities, not as an election contestant, but as an invading army of white people who are disguised as black opposition leaders. Mnangagwa has also made it fully official and public that everyone who belongs to the majority and to the opposition are corpses before they even think. Now, going into an election with such a person who regards you as a war enemy, who is Nelson Chamisa facing in the 2023 elections? A contestant in the election or a sophisticated war criminal? Is Nelson Chamisa ready for this challenge and to deal with the challenge in a way that brings victory for the masses? Can the ballot defeat criminality? Watch the next episode, which is when we touch down in capital city, Lusaka, Zambia.
Vanhu vese vanofana kuzviziva ro basa redu rokuti Mnangagwa aende. Nemhaka yedu chiti Mnangagwa anofana kuti aende. Chokutanga ndechekuti kubva musi wakaita kuu.
Hello, Mamkase, chef.
Hello.
Chef, kukurume Mamkase.
Damuga.
Yeah, masika kubasa.
Ndatobuda ndiri kutauni mangamati.
Okay, aiwa, ndandangovunza nenyaya yema BP tablets asikala aya amaka order kuti abviswe.
Mamura kudii.
Ayo, inini kungovunza kuti ko indava kubva mati mabva mabvisa matablets emunhu muda kuti afe here naJob Sikhala.
Ndimani ngemi?
Chef gukurume ndinoitwa Simba Chikanza ndiri mutoro wenhau. Ndiri kubvunza nenyaya yemaorders amakapa imi kuti maBP tablets asikala. Yes, cut. I'll call him again. Okay, yes, cut again. Hello, Mamkase, chef.
Hello.
Chef, kukurume Mamkase.
This is Zemi Media, broadcasting all around the world, on the spot, on the dot.